What is up, YouTube? This is Angel here, back with another question about intermediate strength. Here, we're going to talk about your style of lifting and how you can analyze it and use it to your advantage. And before I answer this question, if you haven't already, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, click the notification bell so you know when I upload new videos, and hit the thumbs up button so that YouTube knows you enjoyed this content. So let's get started. When you're lifting weights as a beginner, you'll find that there are 3 typical lifting styles someone might do when they are faced with a challenge. They can either be an emotional lifter, a logical lifter, or an in-state lifter. And I'll elaborate on these 3 lifting styles. So the first lifting style is being an emotional lifter. You might find that when you're a beginner, you have to get psyched up. You need to get angry. You can either think of hopeless despair before hitting working sets or a max lift, or you might need to think about positive thoughts. Or wherever your thoughts may be, you know that you need to think about something so that you get charged up and just explode during your working or max effort attempt. There are pros and cons to being a very emotional lifter. The obvious advantage is that you know you're going to take it to the absolute limit without holding anything back. I like to think about a rocket ship going towards its destination. There is no stopping it. Once it's been activated, there's full thrust. You are not stopping that rocket ship from getting to its destination. Even if it does fail, it'll fail with grace and with all its emotion charged up. There's going to be a huge explosion, but that's just the way an emotional lifter will rather their lifts end rather than have it be taken out from something else they couldn't control. However, there is a fine line with using emotions, as many beginners can find out if you have several months of consistent training. If you have too much emotion, that can get you overly psyched. You are way too jittery and you won't get the best performance possible. But input enough emotion, you can get very, very far. And I feel that a lot of beginner lifters have realized that, and as they transition into the intermediate stage, they can actually utilize that to their advantage and dial their emotions forward and back depending on what the situation is presented to them. And if they need to hit a max effort set, they can get it done with the right cues and mental adjustments. The second type of lifter is the logical lifter. And this lifter usually focuses on the minor details and technicalities of a lift. You could think of these people as form Nazis. These are the people who analyze the small degrees in your back angle, knee angle, the amount of bend maybe in the bar. Point is, no detail is too small for these logical lifters to analyze and to optimize in their training. Already, right out the bat, you can already see that this is quite different from the emotional lifter, and that the logical lifter will keep their emotions as low as possible so that they can fully analyze whatever lift they're doing and imagine all the cues, all the technicalities, so that that is pitch perfect before they handle the lift. And that is one of their strengths. They are able to analyze all the angles, their rate of force exerted, just a ton of small details needed to make the motion very smooth and hit it with maximum efficiency. But at the same time, while analyzing, there's just a ton of factors that can go into whether or not a lift is performed as efficiently as possible. And as a result, this can lead to some sort of analysis paralysis that lifters might face before going into a gym. So take, for instance, a squat. You could be analyzing your back angle, how far your knees travel in front of your toes, how wide your stance is, the width of your grip. Are you closed grip or open grip? How high are you placing the bar on your traps? How deep you're going to be bracing for many reps? How long you're going to be holding your breath? Ton of factors. And for the technical lifter, they may not do so hot because with all this information coming in, all you just need to do is get under the bar, squat it, and re-rack. Probably takes no less than a minute, but your analysis takes hours, maybe even longer than that, depending on how diligent you are. And that's really not a great use of your time, in my opinion, especially if you are a early intermediate and you're just figuring out your way into the lifting world. As a beginner, you might need to fix your form because you weren't aware of these details. But there comes a certain threshold point where if you are analyzing, but you find yourself going beyond what is really needed for the most in that lift, is it really worth your time? I think only you can answer that question. And the final lifting style lifters can fall under is the in-state lifter, or you can refer to them as just being in the moment lifter. They are neither emotional nor logical, but they fall right kind of in the middle of both of these boundaries, and they just perform the lift as if they were just going under the bar and just doing whatever lift that they're being told to do. Little emotion, little thinking about cues, just being in the moment. As a result, the biggest strength of this lifting style is that you have the least mental toll on yourself because you are not charging your emotions to channel all your energy into a lift. You're not thinking about anything. You're just doing the movement. And that provides very little cognitive stress on your body. It also provides very little emotional stress on your body as well. But that has its drawbacks. Once you start being distracted, getting a little too emotional, thinking about a little bit too many things, that will throw off your in-state being, and you'll not complete the lift as efficiently as you want, which makes this one of the more powerful lifting styles, but also one of the lifting styles that gets very easily detached, and you'll lose focus and you won't be able to do it properly if you have these random thoughts, if you're not being focused, if you get emotional too quickly, get distracted, etc. When you first start lifting weights, you might notice you might have two of these characteristics, but you probably went through all three at least once in your lifting career. And as you transition into the intermediate stage, you will begin to narrow down on which one of these lifting styles you exactly fit into. I'm just thinking for myself, I've definitely, when I first started, I was a in-state lifter. I wasn't really focused on too many cues, wasn't getting emotionally charged because I find that just made me get out of whack really quickly. And I would just squat under bench press, deadlift, shoulder press, and that was it. And then a little later on, a couple months later, I would turn into an emotional lifter where I channeled all my energy for the squat specifically. And then there was a small period of time where I focused on some technicalities and became a technical lifter and focused on very small details, and I left the other two lifting approaches behind. And as I approach intermediate strength levels and continue to train onward, I find myself going back to what I started in the beginning with, being a in the moment lifter, not relying on emotion, but not thinking about too many cues as well. I'm just performing the movement as be, and if I need to continue to push onward, my body will exert as much energy as it can, and if it cannot, I'll just save it for another day and just chalk it up. If I didn't hit as many reps as I could, so be it. If I did, great, but that's just part of the lifting game. And the longer you train, the longer you'll realize you'll have a lot more average days than winners and losers. You'll have mostly okay days, some great days, and just some bad days. But most of your days will be average, and that'll probably be the range of what you can expect going forward as you continue training consistently. So one question you might have is, what's the point of all this? Why should I care about my lifting style, whether it's emotional, logical, or whether I just be in the moment? The main point is that you should identify the strengths of your lifting style while addressing your weaknesses so that you continue to lift consistently with as little to no injuries as possible. A common mistake that a lot of lifters who continue to get stronger is that they don't reflect on what they did wrong, or they don't keep personal details of what went right, what they respond well to. And this can really bite them back in the butt when they are 6 years into strength training, 10 years, and they literally did not know specifically what worked well for them, how they respond to certain trainings, what type of style they're lifting, which is the main focus of this video. And this will definitely derail your planning into the future if you don't think about these concepts a little bit, try to create a strategy around your personality, and just basically determine how you can lift in a manner that you want to, and it'll be most fun for you. Because what's the point of torturing yourself if you're not going to get stronger, if the reward is not worth it? Again, it's all up on you to do the homework, to realize, hey, this is my lifting style. Do I want to change it? Am I comfortable with it? Will it help me reach my goals in the manner that I want it, etc.? A lot of these questions to ask yourself, but it can only start if you're aware enough to begin this process of self-evaluation. There's not one lifting style that is the most beneficial for a intermediate lifter, but it is important to realize that there are these differences, and working on your strength, working on your weakness, realizing if this matches with how you want to approach your lifting will greatly change how you feel about going into lifting. If you want to continue it competitively, if you want to still do it casually, there's a lot of factors that could change the way you approach lifting, and this is definitely one of them. So I definitely wouldn't just toss this topic to the side, but you should pay attention and definitely think about how you want to approach your training from now on. Because this was a longer video, I'll definitely leave some notes at the end of the video so you guys can check out. And thanks for watching, guys.